I'm going to show how to make an inner cover for my newts, an inner feeder cover. This is an existing one that I made. So what I have here is feeder jars that I put on each end, and in the center I have my vent hole, which can also be used for pollen patties if you want to feed them pollen. So we have some square 1/8 inch hardware cloth stapled down. Okay, now I just take these 4 boards, pre-cut. One side is thicker, this edge is thinner, that edge is thicker, so I got to make sure I get them all turned the same direction. I'm just going to put a little bead of glue from my almost empty glue bottle. There we go, on the inside. On both sides, I'm going to put narrow side up. Now if it shows up where I'm putting the glue. Now the inside panel is smaller than the slot that I cut, so I need to have the glue only about 1/8 inch into the groove. Okay, shallow side up. Not way deep because it doesn't hit the back. Give me a little play, make sure I get it correct. Narrow side up. And narrow side up. Choose that side. So, okay, now I take one of my panels and stick it in the slot so that it's about equally spaced between the 2 ends. Stick an end piece on. And stick a side piece on. And stick the other end piece on. Okay, now I'm going to use this square, make sure I got a square board. And now my staples are too long. I should use a 1/2 inch staple, but I have 3/4 inch, so I have to shoot them at an angle here so they don't go through the bottom. Okay, so this board is done. For now, I just got to drill 3 holes and put the hardware cloth in. Now we're ready to drill my holes. I'm going to show you a trick. When you have a large hole saw, what I like to do is take, this is the mandrel of the hole saw, take it off the mandrel, take your hole saw, chuck it up, and pre-drill your holes. The reason for that is when you put your hole saw on here, it won't try and wobble because this is thin material. Makes it easier to drive. While I have this one drilled, I'm going to use it for my template so I don't have to mark each one. Okay. Now when you get larger mandrels, this is another trick. It has these two pins that come out that hold the mandrel, hold the hole saw from spinning. If you don't put it in, when you put the hole saw on, it'll jam itself and it's very difficult to get off. So you line it up so that those pins are through. Now what I like to do is drill through from both sides. So just do a little bit on each side. Okay, this one I'll go all the way through. Now this also keeps it from binding when it breaks through. Gotta be very careful because if this grabs, it'll rip the drill out of your hand. Plug out of here. It also makes a cleaner edge when you drill it from both sides. Okay, 3 holes drilled. This part, we're going to cut the hardware cloth, the 1/8 inch hardware cloth, for the holes, cover the holes. Now what I like to do, I don't use a straight edge to draw a line. I like to follow the weave in the cloth. So you can see I'm coming down the same spot all the way down. What that does is when you cut it, makes it a little easier to cut because you're staying within the same weave. Now this is a pair of tin snips. They're also called aviation snips. The yellow handle mean they're straights. They make lefts and rights. They're green and red handled. So I need a bunch of them 4 1/4 inches wide. The other thing I do, hardware cloth comes in a big roll. So I unroll what I need and I put the wire that came with it to hold it back in so that it doesn't just unroll and make a big pile somewhere. It's hard to control that way. And the last step is to staple the hardware cloth down where the jars are going to go in the center vent. I like to staple it. You got a little curve in your hardware cloth. I like to staple it so the curve is bowing this way. Now, if I just try and staple this on any surface, this has too much give in it and the staple will bounce back and won't go down all the way. So I put a piece of wood under it. I use the shortest staple I can get, which is 1/4 inch. Okay, that one's done. Now I got my feeder board. Got my jars with holes in it, and I found the bees will take this right through the holes, through the hardware cloth. So you can change these feeders and not have to worry about the bees coming out. So you can go along, lift up your top cover, change these out, add pollen patches, whatever you want to do and not disrupt the bees. So that's my inner cover for a nuke. My inner cover for my false hive hive is exactly the same, it's just bigger dimensions. There you have it. And in case you're wondering what this noise was, there's my wife's fountain. That goes down into a koi pond.